Welcome once again to the City of Maple Grove Report. Dave Kaiser from CCX Media. Thanks for joining us, along with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
We've got a few special things to talk about before the meeting and then the council meeting, as well as a number of things coming up in the city and some great events that happen in the winter without the snow. So we'll tell you more about that in just a second. So the meeting was on the 5th, but before the meeting it was field trip time for the city council. Where did they go and what did they see? Yeah,
so we had the council come tour the PUPS facility, which is Pets Under Police Supervision. It is a facility that's located off of 89th Avenue up there, kind of part of our Public Works campus. We serve 7 other cities out of that facility, and we've had a lot of issues over probably the last 18 to 24 months where we've had to close because we're over capacity, or we have animals that are have illnesses that have caused issues in the facility, and we really don't see those trends going down in terms of the numbers of dogs that we're keeping, dogs and cats, honestly, in the facility. And in addition to that, the facility is 35 years old and was identified, of course, in some of the capital improvement work that we're doing, needing some reinvestment. So we're going to take a look at that facility more closely here at our February 20th work session in discussion with the council to talk about renovation, making some of those improvements to the systems and those types of things. But also, is there room for some small expansion? And of course, that would be in partnership with the 7 cities that are served out of that facility. So just something we needed to get on the council's radar and kind of give them a firsthand view of how that operation works. I think sometimes it's a service that's maybe the least thought about. It happens in the background, but certainly is important to a number of cities up here in the Northwest Metro. So more to come on PUPS, but it was an opportunity for the council to see that facility firsthand.
Second thing that happened before the council meeting was an opportunity to recognize some public safety servants from the city, and you've got the program there, and this was a little change in how the event was handled, and I understand went over very well. Yeah, so we are starting a new program this year. It's called our Public Safety Awards event. I think we're probably going to always do it at the first meeting in February. Heretofore, the police department has done their awards at their annual meeting, but really only the staff is there. They're, the individual that's being recognized and their colleagues. And then for the fire department, they usually do their awards at their fire banquet, which then the firefighters really only bringing, one person with them, a significant other. So this is an opportunity for both for police and fire, for the folks that are being recognized, to really invite their family in. Maybe bring mom and dad and the kids and people who've been important in their life and their career, and watch them be recognized for their work in the community. So that we filled the chambers. I think we had over maybe 100, 150 people there. Did the awards ceremony. Council was present as well, and then had a brief reception down in the Emergency Operations Center after. So really great effort here to recognize a lot of public safety award winners. In the fire department, we have a commendation award, the Mike Piter Fire Service Achievement Award, and then just general commendations for how sometimes folks are responding to incidents in the community. In the police department, we have a Department Award of Merit, a Medal of Commendation, a Chief's Award Merit, and then a Citizen's Certificate of Appreciation. So those awards were recognized. I know we did tape it, so we think we're going to replay that on CCX and make that available to the public. But yeah, a great event for police and fire that evening. Congratulations to all those honored. Now to the council meeting from the 5th, about 1 hour and 15 minutes in length. We'll get to some of the longer items in just a second, but a few pulled from consent that are announcing that there's positions open, recruitment process, but it means a few people leaving the city. Tell us about those two. Yeah, so we had an item on to recruit for a city engineer position, and this is a result of the resignation of Drew Pale, who has been in the assistant city engineer, assistant public works director position for about 10 years. Drew had a great service with the community, and we're very grateful for his service to the city of Maple Grove and wish him all the best in his future career endeavors. But we are recruiting for a city engineer position, and so folks are interested. All the application materials are available on the city's website. Great. In addition to that, long-serving employee Jim Price, who
has been our fleet manager for many years, 43 years with the city, which is just absolutely remarkable. Yeah. And so we're so grateful for Jim's service to the community, and taking a little bit of a shift with this. We're going to shift from not only overseeing fleet, but also having some responsibility with facilities. As our facilities continue to age, we're just seeing a lot more need for kind of oversight and management of those various projects where we're getting in there and maybe redoing a roof or windows, looking at the mechanical systems, that kind of a thing. So a little bit of a shift in this position, and that one's also available out on the city website. In addition to other positions, we're recruiting right now for a lot of positions, so if folks are interested in an opportunity with the city, we encourage them to go take a look.
Very good. We'll mention more of that in just a few minutes here. Congratulations to Jim. I'm sure the city has changed a little bit since he started in 1991.
Just a little bit.
Next item was the firefighter oath of office, and 5 firefighters part of this ceremony, and they have been involved in some training for quite some time. This is a long process.
Yeah, so this is really 18 months of training when we bring a new firefighter on, and this is, you know, sometimes we'll hire firefighters that have worked in other cities as firefighters, or might be full-time firefighters in other, you know, Minneapolis, St. Paul, those types of things. And so this is really, if somebody's coming to us without any experience or training, it's really an 18-month period to get fully trained and ready to be sworn in as a firefighter and kind of be on their own. So the group of firefighters we swore in was Rachel Echevetto Hoffman, Sam Greenwood, Luke Morin, Carlos Nolendorfs, Aaron Ophoven, and RJ Potter. So really happy to have those individuals with us to be sworn in and recognized, and just genuinely appreciate their willingness to step up and serve the community. This is what keeps our paid on call model in place, and really appreciative to the service, and congratulations to them and their family. Yeah,
very nice ceremony as part of that council meeting. A lot of the family members there for that event. Next up was Representative Robbins coming. A sure sign that the session is about to start, and she gave you a little bit of a pre-session update. What were her comments?
Yeah, so Representative Robbins, usually, you know, most of our representatives or senators will sometimes come to a council meeting before the session kicks off, which is next Monday, February 12th already. So just kind of a preview of the session and things that she's going to be focused on. I think there's been a lot of good progress on the school resource officer legislation and trying to get a fix to that would allow some comfort and clarity around the use of force rules and those types of things, get our officers back in the schools. So Representative Robbins has really been a champion for that. And then the Earned Sick and Safe Time bill that went into effect this last year. Some of those things don't really work for the paid on call firefighter model, or make that a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. So looking for some clarification on that. Representative Robbins serves on the Rules, Taxes, and Higher Ed Committee, so that's where she spends much of her focus. So more to come on the session, but good to hear from Representative Robbins.
Next item from the meeting on the 5th was the one public hearing of the evening, a familiar name of a business, Broadway Pizza, but going into a new location and going through the final steps of that process.
Yeah, so we're really happy to have Broadway Bar and Pizza, and they're adding Broad Axe, so another axe throwing type of experience-based business there. This is going into the former Clada Max's on Main Street space right on Main Street. So really excited to have kind of this, you know, home to, you know, mainstay type business there in that space, and have that space occupied again. So they were in front of us for their liquor license. Everything was approved. They didn't commit to an opening date. I think they're doing kind of touching, you know, inside of that building in some significant ways, and updating that. And so more to come on that, but likely later this spring.
All right, we'll keep you up to date on that as it moves along. One item under Community and Economic Development, and this is one that has been talked about numerous times and at different levels in the city. This is the AMC Theater North Outlot. And give us a little background, tell us what was discussed.
Yeah, so this is all part of kind of the reuse of the old theater. So the old AMC Theater that has become Floor and Decor, which of course had a very significant park field there, and the Floor and Decor use of parking is much less. Launch Properties is the developer here. They had come forward with a proposal to add a number of outlots in the parking lot because of that reduced parking demand for the theater. The veterinary clinic that's just kind of to the west of the theater is under construction today. And then they had kind of a freestanding restaurant outlot, and then this proposal that was in front of the council tonight or on Monday night was really about what's called the north lot, which was a 2-tenant building that was envisioned there. The developer proposed 2 users there, Dave's Hot Chicken and Hope Breakfast Bar. Great, both businesses that we would love to have in town. I think the challenge became parking and circulation and how that was going to work. Pretty intense uses, Dave's Hot Chicken and Hope Breakfast Bar, very popular uses in other locations throughout the metro that we are aware of and have maybe some experience-based data now about what those parking demands and circulation might look like. So I think after a lot of consideration, this application first came to the city last July. There was some traffic studies, parking studies, those types of things that were required of the developer, went to the Planning Commission, kind of got sent back, and now it came to the City Council here at this meeting. So, lots of commentary out there about the action of the City Council, and I think some things on social media that are tagging it to a public safety concern, and I think what really is the issue is parking and circulation. So that might have kind of gotten off down a different line of thinking, when really it's about the parking and circulation in between those 2 businesses, Malone's and Red Lobster up there. So again, both great businesses that we would love to have in town, but I think this site in that particular location with both of those uses in one spot in between those 2 businesses, I think the parking just doesn't work, and that's kind of what the data I think proved out. So hoping to see these businesses come back and consider maybe some changes to that, or maybe alternative sites, those types of things. But this one did get denied on a 5-0 vote by the council then.
Next item was adjourning to the EDA, and there was one item that was going to be discussed but then was tabled, but also some minutes approved as well. So it affected not only the EDA, but the next item on the council as well. Tell us about that. Yeah,
so EDA meeting to look at the Project Libre TIF development agreement. So this is the proposal or the project out at 169, 694, kind of that northwest corner of that intersection out there, sort of the far end of the gravel mining area up there. So we've been working with them on kind of some of their project costs related to soil corrections, those types of things, infrastructure. And we had a draft, work through a development agreement. They wanted a little bit more time with that. So this one's tabled to March 4th, and then subsequently would have come back to the council for approval. So that gets tabled there as well.
Very good. Back to the council meeting then. Report on upcoming items for community and economic development. A planning commission meeting coming up on March 11th. What is on that agenda? And also a few new businesses, as always, were mentioned in that report as well. Yeah, so Planning Commission will meet on March 11th, so a little bit of a break here. Two pieces there. We have an Appaloosa Woods, another subdivision lot split out there, and then Top Line Federal Credit Union out at 101 and Bass Lake Road. So those 2 proposals will be heard that evening. A couple new businesses to note. Ashley Furniture is going into the former Bed Bath & Beyond space, so that's a nice addition there. J. Crew Factory over at the shops. Really excited about that one. Tout le jour, I think is how you say it. French bakery over at the shops. That's coming in. I'm real excited about that one. They have a current location, I think, in Richfield. So if you want to go check out their website, it looks delicious and dangerous, I might say. Paris Baguette coming over at along Elm Creek Boulevard, just next to Brick and Bourbon there, kind of where Pancheros is. So that's another exciting one. And then, of course, we talked about Broadway Pizza coming to Main Street, and hopefully they'll be open later this spring. A lot of activity, businesses to check out. Engineering Public Works, quick update here. It is time to talk about 2024 street reconstruction. What happens now in that process? Yeah, so we're going to be doing a neighborhood open house on February 13th at 5:30 p.m. at the Government Center. We're also going to tape that and make that available, so if you're not able to attend and your neighborhood is impacted by street recon this year, you can still see that meeting and hear that information. So encourage folks to get out. Letters went out to, of course, those neighborhoods that are involved with this year's street reconstruction program, and we hope to see many of them on February 13th at that meeting. Final item from the meeting on the 5th was your update. A few quick items to pass along coming up this Friday, a legislative breakfast, and that is perfect timing because the session begins soon.
Yeah, so this is the I-94 Coalition Legislative Breakfast Friday morning in Rogers. It's really an opportunity to thank all of our legislators. We've made tremendous progress. I think there's been over $700 million spent in the corridor from the Fish Lake split up to Clearwater. A lot of new lane additions, either completed, new interchanges, but also things coming, so that, you know, that third lane from Albertville to Monticello is going to get done. That got funded. 610, that construction is starting here in the next few weeks. And so lots of progress and success out there on the corridor. Still some things to get done. I think some of the communities to the west are looking at additional interchanges on 94 as they grow. And then, of course, in the offing is the big Fish Lake split, and that's kind of the original interchange out there. And you know, that 2-to-1 merge as you're heading westbound continues to be a challenge on some afternoons and mornings, and so that's something that MnDOT has done some study. That's a mega project. An interchange like that is very expensive, and so more to come on that. We have made some proposals for some kind of interim improvements that could be done there in terms of adding some lane space, that kind of thing. But more to come there, but that continues to be a priority for the coalition in Maple Grove. All
right, and we'll keep you up to date as the session moves along, again starting on the 12th of February. That's it from the council meeting. Now to a few things happening around the city just to keep you up to date. And one item is something you can look at to get more information about the city, and that's the Residents Guide. It is out and ready to go.
Yeah, it's the annual Maple Grove Osseo Residents Guide. It should have been mailed to all households and businesses. So if you don't have one, there's extra copies available at the Government Center. Lots of great community information and great photos in that community center, or in that guide. And then it's also on our website, so if you want to flip through it there, that's available.
You mentioned jobs earlier. Let's give a little more information about that. Not just those 2 positions we mentioned earlier, but a lot of other part-time jobs, full-time jobs, casual jobs in the city.
Yeah, so we are hiring for a variety of positions, so a number of full-time positions. We're into the new budget year. We had a couple positions approved there, so those are available. And then we, of course, have other part-time, temporary, casual positions, and always in the hiring process. So maplegrovemn.gov is the website. Lots of information available there.
Hard to believe, but election is underway. The process is going. How are things going with absentee voting, and what do residents need to know to think about moving ahead?
Yeah, so we're absentee voting right now at the Government Center for the presidential nominating primary. That primary will be held on Tuesday, March 5th, and folks can vote at their precinct that day. We'll be producing a full election that day. But you can vote at the Government Center from 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. There will be some additional hours leading up to the election here. But just know that on Tuesday, March 5th, you can also vote at your precinct.
All right, more information on the city's website if you want to find out more. A few winter-like events that went on without a winter. The first was the polar plunge. Had to be a little bit better, although the water was probably still cold.
The water was cold and the ice held up, so for that portion of the lake where they were doing this, so that was good to see. So I know the Maple Grove Police Department was involved, the Maple Grove Rotary Club was involved, lots of folks from the community, the Lookout was out there, those types of things. So 663 plungers at Fish Lake that day, and they raised $190,000 for the Special Olympics. So this is just a great annual event, and congrats to everybody who plunged that day.
All right, wonders of winter. You wondered if it was going to happen or what a wonder of winter would look like this year, but it went on, and everybody turned out.
Yeah, over 1,000 people showed up to this event that day at Central Park, and we pivoted. Our Parks and Recreation team is so good at, you know, well, we don't have snow. What else can we do outside in the wintertime? And so they identified some things to keep people busy that day. The ice loop, I believe, is still holding up despite this rain today. Probably, I should maybe take that back. Check first because of this rain today. Rain is tough to overcome, especially when it's this warm. So great event, great job by our Parks and Recreation team, and thanks to everybody who came out that day.
As most of you know, February is Black History Month, and the city of Maple Grove doing some special things around watching some movies. How does this work?
Yeah, so this is the Black History Month Film Festival that's taking place at the Community Center. During the month of February, enjoy a movie every Tuesday evening at the Maple Grove Community Center. Each show starts at 5 p.m. and is followed by a group discussion. All are welcome. There's no fee associated with this and no registration is necessary. So the upcoming movies that are going to be played, 42, which is a biographical sports film about Major League Baseball player Jackie Robinson. Harriet, a biography about abolitionist Harriet Tubman, and then Soul, which is an animated Pixar feature. So fun events happening there at the Community Center in honor of Black History Month.
Yeah, I hope you can get out and get involved. Here's something that's a little more spring-like and another great turnout here. This is for garden plots. Again, remind us what this is and what has just recently happened.
Yeah, so this is a new program by the Maple Grove Parks and Recreation Department. They created a community garden at Donahue North Park, and we did a lottery for those community garden plots. It closed on January 31st. A total of 161 residents applied for 39 plots, so well over capacity. We see the demand is out there. Applicants are selected at random, and those not chosen would be placed on a waiting list. So this is kind of a pilot program to see, is there interest out there? How does it go? Kind of transitioning some underutilized space out there at Donahue Park. So we'll see how the summer goes here, and I think the thought is if it's well received and well done, you know, maybe they'll look for other locations in the future.
Very good. Number of big fans of the farmers market, and listen up because it is coming back in the indoor variety, and then also something to note about the outdoor variety when it gets here. What's the latest from the market? Yeah,
so our farmers market team is planning for a 20-year celebration. This is 20 years of the farmers market, which is really great to see. The indoor market will return in March, so we'll have some dates out for that. We are going to need to change the location of the outdoor farmers market this summer. We are going to be starting construction on that community center, the west end of the community center, that Phase 1 arena project, and which will also involve much of the site parking area there. So I think the notion is to shift for the whole season and make it less complicated for folks about where the location is. So they're going to be shifting up to Church of the Open Door for the 2024 outdoor season. So information available about that on the Maple Grove Farmers Market website, maplegrovefarmersmarket.com website, and just looking forward to that spring, you know, the market's coming in March, and then getting going up at the church in the spring.
Great. We'll talk more about that as it gets closer to make sure you can get there and know what is available. A lot of people still interested in pickleball, and maybe some playing outside, but if it's a rainy day like today on this Thursday, you have to go inside, and you have an answer for that.
Yeah, so we have indoor pickleball available at the Maple Grove Community Center or the middle school gymnasium down off of Hemlock. Day passes or a pickleball membership can be purchased. Lots of information available on the city website there. And then just looking ahead, city offices will be closed on Monday, February 19th in observation of President's Day. Then our city council meeting shifts to the next day on Tuesday, February 20th.
Perfect lead in here. We'll tell you about that right as we leave the program. Heidi, thanks so much again for your time today.
You're welcome.
Look forward to talk to you again next time. Here is some information you might need. Again, we mentioned the website a number of times. A lot of information about the election, job openings, other things on the city site. maplegrovemn.gov down on the bottom left there. And the next meeting, as Heidi mentioned, is Tuesday the 20th, 7:30 at the Government Center. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the City of Maple Grove Report.